Calls his own number, runs near side. He's got room near the pylon. He's in for the touchdown. They go up the middle. Yannico breaks a tackle.
He's in.
Trying to drag people with him into the end zone. Touchdown, Pinkerton.
Wow, that's huge.
Meanwhile, play action. Roll out on third down. The throw is complete. Moss inside the 20. Down the near sideline. He's going to score the touchdown. Here's Post up the middle. Post has got a seam and he's gone. Touchdown, Timberlane. 4 receivers set, 3 right side. Suave going to throw. He's got off in the air. He's got a man in the end zone. Touchdown. Handoff to Kinley. He's got a hold, got a first down, and then some. He's going to break it loose. Yannico inside for touchdown number 5. Here comes Baker for the sack. Who else? They take the snap. They're going to hand in the middle to Julio. Touchdown, Timberlane. Well, that may have been our best introduction yet. Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you here in the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. It's FNL Gridiron, and we're getting down to the wire. Quarterfinal weekends begins tomorrow night. We're on air with a doubleheader. Tonight, of course, we preview those 2 football games with 5 different guests over the next 90 minutes. Tom King back on the show, the longtime writer with the Nashua Telegraph, also a longtime broadcaster with ETV. He joins us at 6:15. Bottom of the hour, Brian O'Reilly of Pinkerton. 6:45, John Tricciani Jr. of BG. Those two collide this weekend. Cardinals and Astros tomorrow night, 5 o'clock here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Then in the second hour tonight, we preview Exeter and Timberlane. Blue Hawks head coach Bill Ball, slated for 7 o'clock tonight. And then a student-athlete interview with the senior quarterback, Dom Capetta of Timberlane. So Tom King, Brian O'Reilly, John Tricciani Jr., Bill Ball, Dom Capetta in that order tonight. And again, another hard-hitting doubleheader this weekend beginning tomorrow night. Early start, 5 o'clock. Going to try and sneak it in before the weather gets too nasty between Pinkerton and BG. Saturday at 1, we bring you live coverage of Timberlane at Exeter. Final 8, Steve, in Division 1. Final 4 in some of the lower divisions. We'll preview that tonight as well. But boy, oh boy, the 8 teams remaining in Division 1 all are well accomplished at this point. Most came off a win in the first round last weekend, playing with some momentum. Of course, the top 3 seeds earned byes, Londonderry, Nashua North, and Exeter. But I think we're in for 4 good games in Division 1 this weekend, and we'll know the semifinals by this time, well, about 48 hours or so from now on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to thank Ben for staying wee hours in the morning, Nick, for putting together that piece of work there. What a terrific job by our director, Ben Beals. One thing that I notice is when you see guys running the ball, you see the tackling, you see the blocking and everything. There's a lot of good coaching going on. Those plays that you're seeing there don't just happen by one guy carrying the football. There's 22 guys out there doing a lot of things right. So, and boy, when you get good camera work, you can pull a lot out of it. As far as the last weekend is concerned, and the game that we did, and the other games that went on, Nick, as long as we can continue growing each program, the depth, the parity, it's what the NFL tried to create. New Hampshire high school football is doing it by a lot of ground effort by coaching staffs and kids working in the off seasons. People like Trevor Knight working with quarterbacks, elevating their play in other programs as well. There's just a lot of stuff going on there that's just making this New Hampshire Southern District or Division I football and Division II and III as well just continuing to elevate. So my view is that if that can happen and we can continue building and expanding the quality of the programs right on down the ladder, the best thing NHI ever did is create this preliminary round, because I think what it did is it really is putting together the best 8 teams, the teams that are playing the best football, the top 8. So.
Yeah, the lone road team to win over the weekend was Bedford as a 10 seed, and they looked good in a shutout victory over Wyndham. We'll talk about the Bulldogs in a second. But As we always do here in the first segment, we're going to run down the top 10, the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll. And Londonderry, after a week off, they remain up top at number 1, defending D1 champs, undefeated against in-state competition. Lancers back in action after a 2-week absence this weekend against Merrimack. Speaking of the Tomahawks, they were 14-6 winners on their home field over Portsmouth. That was the 8 versus 9 matchup. And again, they will be big underdogs this weekend against Londonderry. Merrimack is also in the poll for the second straight week. We'll get to that in a second. Number 2, Nashua North, unbeaten, officially 9-0. Again, they did not play after winning the Western Conference in Division I. They earned the first round bye. They get to host Red Hot Bedford in the D1 semis. BG sharpening their sword in advance of the quarterfinals. 42-14, a win over Dover on Saturday. That game was at Stello Stadium. Cardinals get out to an early lead and never looked back in that one to grab their 8th win of the season officially. And they are at number 4, Pinkerton, tomorrow night. Pinkerton, both the 4 seed and the 4th-ranked team here in the power poll. They beat Spalding, although kudos to the Red Raiders, put up a pretty good fight. 35-20 was the final, you're right. Spalding loses by 15 on the road. Portsmouth came up short, as you mentioned, at Merrimack by only 6. Spalding, though, one of their best seasons in recent memory as they bow out following that defeat in Derry. So, again, according to the power poll, the number 3 and the number 4 teams, BG and Pinkerton, squaring off tomorrow night here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Early start, early kick at 5 o'clock. Number 5 in the power poll is Exeter. They won Division I East. They had a bye. They will host number 6 Timberlane on Saturday. That game, of course, is a rematch from week number 5. That was an Owls win on this program, 27-23. Bedford, number 7. They beat up on Wyndham 28-0. 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns really put that game to bed. They also have a rematch on their hands now as they take on number 2 seed Nashua North at Stello Stadium this weekend. Merrimack, number 8 in the poll. As we mentioned, they broke into the top 10 for the first time last week. They stay in the top 10 as now a quarterfinal team again under head coach Kip Jackson. Their 7th win of the season comes 14-6 over Portsmouth. The lone Division II team in the power poll is Pelham. No problem with Plymouth, 63-14. Real interesting in the Division II finals. They'll take on Bow on one half of the bracket, and then on the other half is Guilford Belmont versus Souhegan. Both of those teams, by the way, received votes this week in the poll but didn't crack the top 10 because Concord holds on to the final spot despite a loss to Timberlane, a game Steve and I did back on Friday night. 20-14 was the final there. Concord 14 points in the first quarter, but shut out over the final 3 as that Owl defense comes alive. So once again, the top 10 here in the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll: Londonderry, Nashua North, BG, Pinkerton, Exeter, your top 5. Timberlane, Bedford, Merrimack, Pelham, Concord, in that order, round out the top 10. But of course, that's basically just pageantry at this point, Steve. The real action is on the brackets, as we know. Do or die coming up this weekend, the quarterfinal round. And again, 2 excellent games coming your way here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Live, full 1080 HD, early start tomorrow. BG at Pinkerton, kickoff at 5 o'clock. We're on the air at about 4:45. It should be interesting with the rain in the forecast. And then Timberlane at Exeter in a rematch Saturday, 1 o'clock, 12:45 is our pregame coverage. All right, take a break, come back. Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph is on the other side. Should be healthy and ready to go, and we'll get to Tom in just a moment. You are watching FNL Gridiron. It's right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. It's FNL Gridiron here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. 2 playoff games coming your way live on this channel this weekend, beginning tomorrow night. Early start between Bishop Girton and Pinkerton. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff. Our coverage begins at 4:45. We've got Astro head coach Brian O'Reilly coming on in about 15 minutes or so. About a half hour away is our chat with John Tricciani Jr. of Bishop Girton. Top of hour number 2, Bill Ball of Exeter. Blue Hawks going to play host to Timberlane on Saturday, 1 o'clock. We'll bring you that game here on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Live as well with our pregame coverage at 12:45. And then student-athlete Dom Capetta, Owls senior quarterback, the Timberlane captain, one of them, going to join us at 7:15. Joining us now is our first guest, Tom King, writer with the Nashua Telegraph, broadcaster with ETV. Under the weather a couple of weeks back, but it looks like he's got his color back, and he's ready to rock and roll with us tonight. Tom, we appreciate it as usual. How are you?
Not bad, guys. I'm the leadoff hitter tonight, so I'll try to reach base and get some speed and steal a base here and there.
We appreciate it. What's going on here in your mind as we're on the eve of the quarterfinals in Division I? 4 good contests up and down the bracket. Where do you want to start?
Well, I think I'd start with the first game that's going to be played tomorrow, and that's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Stellos. That's going to be North and Bedford. They moved that game back, in case a lot of your listeners and viewers don't know. They have moved it back. Yeah, moved it up actually to 4 o'clock from 6:30.
It was 5.
So,
it was 6:30
it's
originally. Now it's going to be 4. Okay.
Now it's going to be 4.
You,
North
Tom.
and Bedford at Stellos. So that to me is
5. Wow.
No, the email I have says 4. Your game is at 5.
Right. Okay. I thought they were both at 5. I didn't realize that. Wow.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I saw anyway. So I'll double check it.
I'm
but
sure
that's
you're
what
right,
I saw.
Tom.
4 o'clock, because the way the weather is working, guys, is that the storm is coming in and it's going to be hitting, after 6 o'clock. So probably the second half of your game will be kind of wet over in Derry, and maybe, just maybe, North and Bedford can play in dry conditions and then get out of there. And I was worried about Saturday's games, but Saturday at 1 o'clock seems like it's going to be everything's going to be passed and out of the area by then. So that's good. But North Bedford, I mean, look, rematch of opening night, right?
Right.
And Bedford, in my mind, has the best defense in the state. They are exceptional defensively. In that game, North only had one offensive score. One offensive touchdown. So,
right.
Right. So that's, so that tells me that this isn't going to be a walk in the park. It's seeded number 2 versus number 10 seed, but Bedford is a lot better than a 10 seed in a 13-team tournament. They're one of the better teams in Division I, and I think that they'll give North a run for their money.
Yeah, no question about it. Does the early start, Tom, in your mind, affect these kids at all? I'm not sure if there's school or not tomorrow with Veterans Day.
I don't know.
If they are going to school, then that means basically the bell rings, they're done with classes, then they got to throw the pads on and get ready mentally for a do-or-die playoff game. Does that factor in at all, Tom, or is that just an overrated, perhaps, factor?
I think it's more of a factor when you postpone a game and play it on another day. I think that always favors the underdog. They have an extra day to get ready. The other team that is the favorite wants to get the game out of the way, more or less. I think that this is going to be a situation where it might, I don't think it's going to impact either one. I don't think there's any school around the area tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a complete holiday. So, I may be wrong. I know BG. I'm pretty sure BG has it off. So I'm not quite sure, and I think that's one of the reasons why they are able to play as early as they're going to play at Stellos tomorrow.
Right. That makes sense for sure. All right. How
But
about your
one thing
thoughts
about tomorrow's game? Well, one more thing, Nick. Tomorrow's game, North Bedford, Toby Brown Jr. will not play in that game for North.
Wow.
That will be big. That's a big deal.
That's a lingering issue? Right. Okay.
Lingering knee injury, and from what I understand, this is probably the final week they're going to hold him out. He should be able to play next week in the semis if they get that far. But as far as I know right now, he is not going to play in tomorrow's game. So that puts a little bit of pressure on North, but I think North's got a kid, Jack Peters, who's really, really good defensively. In fact, you can read all about his story tomorrow or later on tonight or tomorrow on nationaltelegraph.com. I've done a feature on him. Great football player. North's got some seniors. I think they can handle this game in terms of not having Toby Brown Jr. It's just that they haven't played in 2 weeks. A lot of variables in this one, aren't there? A lot of variables.
Really are, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to Tom. Thanks for coming on as usual. I'm glad to see you feeling better. We've been in my thoughts, and when I talked to Pete there, he said that you were underway. Just not the same thing up there in that clubhouse in that press box without you, buddy. So when we did a game over there, so glad to see you doing well. I want to switch over to the Pinkerton BG game for a sec that we're going to be doing tomorrow night, Tom, at Pinkerton, which we've had a little bit of insight into watching Pinkerton, and that offense was my concern. The defense with Pinkerton has never been my concern. They played strong defense all year long. It certainly looked to us like that offense is back in sync. Jake Albert looks faster than I've ever seen him running the ball. How do you look at this game with BG? I understand after watching a little bit of material with BG, Charlie Bellavance is back at it offensively again. Where do you see this game?
I mean, this is an interesting game. If Girton won this game, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. But then again, I haven't seen Pinkerton all year, so I can't really say. But from what I gather, their offense has really picked up in the last few weeks. They've only lost one game in state. That was to Londonderry, which everybody seems to lose to. So
Brockton right to the wire.
Yep, right. So I mean, I think that the unknown factor that these two teams haven't seen each other is the thing that I think gives Girton, a little bit of a hope for an upset. Mm-hmm. Girton's a good team. We both saw that. We've both seen them all year long. Mm-hmm. What Girton needs is it, right? They need it. They need that confidence to win a game, a big game against a good football team. And I thought they were going to do it against North. I was able to call the game via Zoom on ETV and see it. Mm-hmm. And I was, what they did in the last 2 minutes, obviously you can't do in a football game. Getting Bellavance back helps their offense because it takes a little bit of pressure off Matt Santaswaza. Now, Bellavance has played during the season. He's played linebacker here and there. But they're hoping to get 4 quarters out of him on Friday night. Right. If they can get that and he can run, and he's the type of runner, guys, that stronger in the third quarter, right? The more times he hits you, the weaker you get. And that's the theory with Bellavance, and then he can break away a little bit.
He is a load. So the other thing about him is when you put – go ahead.
If they get the Charlie Bellavance from the first 8 games of the 2021 season, this could be an interesting game.
I agree. And, if he does need a little bit of break, just to kind of manage that talent that he has, you've got Labby going in, who's proved himself as a tremendous asset. BG wouldn't be where they are today if it wasn't for the reminds me in baseball of Rick Miller. Remember Rick Miller back in the 70s? What a tremendous backup guy he was. And Labby comes on the scene as a running back and just gets it done and still makes it difficult. They could not focus just on Matt Santaswazo's running game. They had to honor Labby because he burnt him when they did. What are your thoughts on Labby?
Rick Miller managed the national pride back.
Absolutely, that's why I brought him up. One of the best backup utility players that ever played the game, as far as I'm concerned. He was tremendous.
He was a better utility player than he was as a manager. Let me put it that way. So
no doubt about that. Hey, let's go back to Nashua North. Go ahead.
Labby is good. He's done the job. The one thing that Labby can't do that Bellavance can do is break away.
Absolutely.
Because Bellavance will knock you down and then be able to run in the open. Labby will get the tough yards, but I don't know if Labby's got the breakaway ability. So this is going to be as what PG can do offensively, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, go back to North real quick. I just want to go talk about the game that we saw against North where Troy went down. Toby went down, and I always get mixed up, Toby and Troy. And I felt as though North, take nothing away from Toby as a player and the impact player that he is, but it looked to me like North did a tremendous job with bringing in some reinforcements and handling themselves without him as good as possible. What are your thoughts about that, if the fact that he is absent now that these other players have had an opportunity to practice?
Well, I talked to Chad Zabolis about that this week. He said, we don't need to replace Toby with a Toby. What they need is a good body to hold off and occupy the offensive tackle, and that allows some of the other players, like Raisin and Andino and Jack Peters, to make plays in the backfield or make plays anywhere along the line of scrimmage, just to prevent things from getting to that second level. So that's the thing. Now, Toby had he played a big part in that in the first game against Bedford. He had a scoop and score. Remember, about 80-yard scoop and score.
I do.
So, yeah, I mean, but I think Peters was the guy on the play who knocked the ball out. So they need to be able to occupy that offensive tackle so that the other Titan defenders can come in and make plays. That's the bottom line.
And what a job Chad Zabolis did. I'll leave you with that. What a tremendous job he did this year.
Outstanding in year number 1, filling in for Coach Lorendi, replacing the departed Dante Lorendi. Coach,
he's not departed. He's still alive. He's still with us, Nick. He's still alive, so don't worry about it.
Sure, and he's also over the school. I get all that, but he's not on the sidelines. They didn't miss a beat, to Steve's point.
Chad's done great.
Tom, we got to go. We appreciate it. We will see you. I don't know if it's this weekend or what, but I'm sure we'll run into you here sooner rather than later. Thanks for coming on tonight.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Tom King live from inside the Tom Pound. Longtime broadcaster with Nashua's ETV and, of course, longtime writer with the Nashua Telegraph. All right, quick break. On the other side, we welcome in our first head coach tonight. That's Pinkerton's Brian O'Reilly. You are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. All right, back here at the Beals Insurance Studios, Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you. It's FNL Gridiron. It's heard every Thursday, live at 6 Eastern here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Had it mixed up. We've got Coach John Tricciani Jr. of the BG Cardinals in the on-deck circle. Coach O'Reilly of Pinkerton is coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes or so. Hour number 2, Exeter's Bill Ball at 7 o'clock. Dom Capetta, senior quarterback with Timberlane at 7:15. All right, he's been waiting long enough. Let's bring him in. John Tricciani Jr. BG, no problem with Dover in round number 1, 42-14. The 5th-seeded Cardinals are at Pinkerton tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're good. We appreciate you coming on. We'll start with the Dover game, do-or-die spot for your club. The seniors obviously put together a great game and you hit the ground running, apparently, in that win over the Green Wave. What'd you take away from that 28-point victory heading into the quarterfinals?
Yeah, it's just a big-time playoff win for us. Obviously, there's a new format, and, I have a lot of different thoughts on that, but whoever they, tell us to play, that's who we got to go out and play, and whatever the format is, home or away. I think this team came in with a lot of goals at the beginning of the year, and that win last week was, a way for us to check off a box, which I think is, a necessary step to continue to move forward. We're real happy about it.
Yeah. It looks like also your club is getting healthier at the right time. Senior quarterback Charlie Bellavance expected to play both ways this weekend, Coach. What's his status going into the Pinkerton game?
Yeah, I anticipate that he plays. I anticipate that he plays both ways and on special teams, and he'll go as long and as much as possible. And I'll try to be in communication with him, just like the rest of the kids that may be dealing with some different things. And he'll play until he says that he can't. And I'm really excited to see how it goes for him.
Good story for sure. Again, able to fight his way back onto the field. We'll be cheering for him. Pinkerton, the opponent. Obviously, the Astros, a team that your club did not face during the regular season. They come off a 35-20 victory over Spalding. What is the first thing, I guess, you'll try to take away or at least limit against Pinkerton tomorrow night?
I'd say, they present a lot of problems. And I don't think that anybody watches games of Pinkerton or sees them on film and is, overly excited to go play them. They're real tough. They get some really good coaches. I was thinking about just the trip over there and to go to that field up, back set away from the school up in the woods. Not too many people go up there and win. And I've been up there as a player, as an assistant coach with some different teams, and a lot of times it's the same result. So I think, to be honest with you, what we're going to try to take away from them is, any big plays. They're definitely going to move the ball. I don't have any unrealistic expectations. Can we limit some of those big plays, and can we kind of force them to really put in some long, sustained drives? And then ultimately, we're all going to be playing with some weather of some sort at some point during the game. So, we're going to try to hold on to the ball and really concentrate on ball security from our end.
Steve?
Coach, thanks for coming on. As usual, congratulations on a nice win last week. Very decisive. That's a good offense to shut down to 14 points when they're rolling. They can score some serious points. So you must have been pretty happy with the defense, especially coming out of that game, right?
Yeah, a lot of it is just trying to get out to a fast start, and then you're trying to stop teams on first and second down and then try to put them in a position where they may have to throw. I think going into that game too, I've been on some staffs that have played against Dover, and I think everybody kind of knows about Coach Kumba over there and how well he does. And it was no real surprise to me, when we came out in the second half and he's got a chance to make a couple adjustments. They went right down the field. He's as good as they come, and a lot of respect for him. But you're going to try to slow teams down the best you can, and same thing, right? Trying to limit those big plays, make them go into sustained drives, and then they're high school kids on both teams. So the more plays that they have to be out there, longer those drives go. Do they get a holding penalty? Is there a fumble? Is there some type of missed execution? You're just trying to make it as difficult as possible for those offenses.
I talked to Tom King a little bit about Labby and the work and what he did for his football team to come in like that. He just really impressed me. What can you say about this young man? And do you see an offensive role for him still, given the fact that Charlie's back? And Charlie seems to be trucking people again. That's a sign to me that he must be, from what I could see in that game, that's a sign to me that he must be feeling better. But just talk a little bit about Labby and when you go back in the season and you kind of lose Charlie offensively, what this young man did.
It's definitely going to be one of, if not the biggest highlights once we have the opportunity to reflect on the season. He's a kid that missed last year, I believe, based on a back injury that he had from wrestling. there are some coaches that have seen him in our program over the last couple of seasons that felt like this was possible, especially on the defensive side, that he showed some signs as he could be a really, big-time contributor, especially at linebacker. I was just so happy that the kid was healthy this year for the most part. I think, there's some parts of it where it's like, hey, this is what he was capable all along. We just had to make sure that we, got him out there on the field. And then it's like anything else, the team is going to face some adversity throughout the course of the year, and it's going to require a lot of people to step up. And you don't necessarily always know when that opportunity is going to come. But when it does, are you going to be ready and take advantage of it? And that's really what Ethan Labby did. And if he didn't do, the things that we saw on the field, but also in practice and paying attention and being a coachable kid and a really good teammate, we're definitely not in the position that we are right now. So we're really thankful and happy for him.
I think he also forced the teams to recognize him and not just focus on San Suazo, and that just made Matt better as well. And boy, when you can have that 1-2 punch, you could arguably have a 1-2-3 punch right now. Speaking of punches, let's talk about that Pinkerton running back core of Donico and Jake Albert. We did a game the other day against with Pinkerton, and Jake looks to me like he's got a gear that he added this year. I've never seen him as fast coming around the corner. How do you contain? You got a battering ram that can just go and truck people on his own part in Danico, and then you got Jake, who when he turns upfield, he's a rocket. How do you when working on your defense, to stop a dynamic duo like that?
It's really hard. The more weapons that a team has, the harder it is to focus on any of them. And, that coach over there for Pinkerton is pretty good. So he's got a couple other guys too, right? So they're going to check and see if we're all focusing on number 2. Do they start really getting the ball to 22, who's also a really good athlete. And then if you're really worried about stopping them on the outside, they're going to go with 25 more between the tackles. So, I have a lot of respect for those coaches and a lot of respect for that team. A lot of our kids are actually familiar with Albert from playing with him growing up. So I think it's a really cool thing for these kids to be able to compete against each other. I don't know that we're going to be able to necessarily take anybody away, but it's going to be trying to limit those plays, trying to see what they do based on formation and based on down and distance, and try to read our keys. And it's just going to really require our team to be as physical and as tough as possible, which is not something that I think that we're known for. So that's kind of one of the things that I've been talking about this week. Line up, play assignment football the best you can. When the ball gets snapped, you better be coming downhill and being physical.
Only got a few seconds here. Just one last quick question. What do you see? You're a very holistic coach. You look at all 3 phases of the game. I know you watch your coach, and I watch the impact of the team. What element of the game, whether it be special teams, defense, offense, or what particular piece of the game do you have to do really well and get an A+ on in order to become victorious over Pinkerton?
Got to win the turnover battle. Can't have the special teams errors that we had against Nashua North. These big competitive games, there's just no room for error. And then it's the physicality. Can our linebackers and can our offensive and defensive lines really match the physicality of this Pinkerton team? And if we can, we'll be in a good spot. And if we can't, it's going to be a problem.
Well said. Great year this year, Coach. I'll hand it back to Nick. Yeah. We're looking forward to that game. We knew it right off when we saw it. I think if you like running, hard-fought football, you're going to love this one tomorrow night, I think.
Absolutely.
Rain or no rain, it doesn't matter when you can run the ball.
Yeah, Coach, win or lose tomorrow, we appreciate all you've done, making yourself available, your players available for us here in the media. We appreciate it, and wish you the best of luck tomorrow against Pinkerton.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Have a good night.
You guys got some men of character on that team. I've had an ability to go talk to a lot of them and after the game, and talk to Jacob Baker a little bit. What a fine young man he is. He goes out there, he plays like a crazy man, but boy, he's got a big heart, and been able to talk to those guys, and the discipline that you've shown them this year as far as coaching is concerned. You got a good group there, so best of luck to them, and I would say the same about Pinkerton. What a terrific group. So just a good battle. So
thank you, Coach.
See you guys.
And again, John Tricciani Jr., fifth-year head coach with the Cardinals. BG on the road tomorrow. Early start at Pinkerton, 5 o'clock in maybe the jewel of the quarterfinals.
I really like these two teams in all elements. I really enjoy watching Jack Burns' team as well. I like watching all of them, quite frankly. But we've got a good chance to see BG and Pinkerton this year because they've had some very good games, and I think a lot of both of these teams. I will tell you, Nick, these 8 teams that are left deserve to be
Absolutely.
there. Bedford proved to us last week. I've always been saying Bedford's got an extremely high ceiling. And they showed that against a very good Wyndham team the other night. And
all right. Well, we took a glimpse into the mind of the Bishop Girton Cardinal head coach. We're going to do the same on the other side with Brian O'Reilly, the longtime Astros head coach / Pinkerton athletic director, joins us yet again here on FNL Gridiron. We're presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit MGSportsFundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. All right, back here in the Beals Insurance Studios, Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you. It's FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance, and we're live every Thursday at 6. We got Coach Ball and Dom Capetta of Timberlane coming up at the top of hour number 2 to help preview that Timberlane at Exeter matchup with us. We'll be on the field at Bill Ball Stadium Saturday at 12:45 in advance of that 1 o'clock kick. But, of course, our playoff doubleheader begins tomorrow night. 5 o'clock, early start in Derry as Pinkerton plays host to Bishop Girton, a spot in the semifinals on the line. Ticket up for grabs, and both teams should be ready to go. Weather moving in, as we know, and as a result, we're going to get this thing going a couple of hours early. All right, let's bring in Coach Brian O'Reilly. I know, Coach, you're really busy right now as we take a look into Coach's living room. Thanks again for coming on, Coach. We'll keep you for a few minutes here. But let's start with that early decision. You texted me earlier, said 5 o'clock. I figured it was because of the incoming rainstorm tomorrow night. What is the latest you're hearing, and was that indeed the reason behind the early start tomorrow night?
Well, that's definitely the reason. Looked at the weather this morning, and it seemed as if the rain was starting sooner than we expected. More importantly, one of the stations I looked at had a yellow band coming through somewhere around 7. I got a call from Ryan Brown, the AD at BG, and he asked, like, could we move this back to 6? And it was like, sure, we can do that. And then the more I thought about it, it was like, why don't we just move back to 5? Try to get this in as much. It's still going to be raining, from what I can see. It's going to be raining from about 3:30 on, but rain's fine. It's football. It's just the idea of you don't want to play in a downpour. So we'll see.
I assume, Coach, there's no school tomorrow? Is that correct?
There is
because
no
of Veterans
school
Day?
tomorrow. That's correct.
Okay. So are you going to treat this kind of as a Saturday type of situation where you've got a 5 o'clock game, no school, or does the time change not affect your prep at all?
No, we practice every day at this time, and we're on the field today, and I turned the lights on at the very end, even though it was a sunny day. And we ended practice today specifically at 4:58, just because I looked at the watch, and it was totally dark out, and I said to the team, like, this is 24 hours from now we're playing. It's a night game. It's even though it's 5 in the afternoon, it's not an afternoon game. It's dark. It's night. So it's going to have the feel of a Friday night game. We'll be fine.
Yeah. The other X factor is, of course, the weather, right? It's supposed to rain, wind, etc. Does that favor your team at all, or no,
I don't.
No
think
advantage
so.
either way.
I think both teams are built sort of the same way. We're run-first teams, but can throw the ball. And even if they were even if we're different styles, you just deal with the rain. It is what it is. You're just as likely to fumble the ball in the rain as you are to not throw a very good pass in the rain. The wind actually is always more of a concern to me than rain. But that said, by the second quarter, balls get a little slippery, although on the artificial turf field, you don't have to deal with that mud grease that you normally deal with.
Coach, thanks for coming on. Let's talk about your offense for a sec. I've been watching film on the development of that offense, and it isn't just your quarterback that's improved. The line I play has been significantly improved and developed throughout the year. We've talked about that last time you came on. But some people call it Donaco, other people say Donaco. It's Donaco, right?
Yanako.
No D. Yanako, excuse me.
Yanako and Jake, the game that we were at Pinkerton was absolutely fantastic. The way that they're cutting up into the seams and stuff and seeing things that these young linemen are giving them was really impressive to me. I actually went back and watched it again, and it even looked better than the first time I saw it. How'd this week of practice go? How are these guys? This team is really, I think, is a team that nobody wants to play. I think that would, you could say that across the board. How are these guys this week? How big is this game to these guys? And when you look at the spirit this week, how has it been? Is there a real sense of urgency and a desire to? I know that sounds like an easy question, but is the team at that next level attitude-wise?
I think so. I think they've been that way for a while. I think we got that way after the Brockton game, which is certainly one of the reasons I like to play out of state. And having the extra week of playoffs a week before answers that question. Prior to this year, this would be the first game. Are we ready? Or do our kids understand the need of intensity in playoffs? But even with a lower seed last week, it's still, you come to play, you find out if people are ready to play. So we're in good shape. It was a good practice week, and we're healthy, as healthy as we can be at this point in the season. And anxious to go, to be honest with you. I'm glad we're playing tomorrow, not Saturday. I don't know that I could go through one more day. When you get to this point in the season, it's the same old in practice. You know, we're not, I can't speak for other teams, but we don't like, let's add this and let's add this and let's add this. No, it's
Fine tune what you have.
If we can't win with what we do, then we can't win. And so there's not a lot of teaching going on other than specific game plan things that you might be doing. But the 3-4 days of practice is more than enough to move on.
I've never seen a year across Division I of all the games that we've done where I've seen so many special teams touchdowns when the kicking team kicked it to one of the better players. I've never seen such damage and havoc done. It was almost like a hurricane every time they kicked off. What are your thoughts on why that is? Because it hasn't just happened with a couple teams. It's been pretty much across the board. What is that, and why is that elevated this year? You are a student of the game for 50-some-odd years, I'm sure, and 40-some-odd years coaching. What's going on?
Well, we certainly have been a victim of that. We've given up our share of kick returns for touchdowns. I can't speak for the rest of the league. You are right, though, it's happening everywhere. I can tell you that always you try to get backup kids on special teams. You have a lot of kids that play both ways, and you just don't want to exhaust them. And so you give chances to other people. And I learn over and over again that on a kickoff team, you got to be careful who you have on a kickoff team, because the other team's kick returners are usually their starters, as are ours. You know, maybe the guys in front of them are backups also, but the kids carrying the ball, they know what to do with it. And if you have the wrong mix of kids, it's big yards. So it's something we've been working on the last couple of weeks. I will tell you the number one solution to it, and it's easy to do at this time of year, is don't put backups on it anymore. You put your defensive starters on, and you just let it go the way it is. During the season, you're seeing everybody's backups. Everybody's kind of the same. There are very few teams that stick all their starters and defense because you want to give them a blow. But why more this year than ever before? Honestly, I'm not really sure, but you're right.
I'm not either, but it is notable when you look across the league at Division I games. It's very notable. Last question I had for you, Coach. A lot of teams have usually a tremendous, on the defensive line, one really standout asset. BG potentially has two. I would argue it could be even three. Your offensive line, the improvement on your offensive line and the sophistication and the execution has really been on a curve, on a steep curve every game, and I think you guys are on a nice run here. But having said that, you got Baker, you got Geraci, and you've got two guys who are certainly A- guys behind them. How do you stop them with your wreaking havoc in your backfield?
You have to block them. Rocco's a really
I know
good
that,
nose.
but I mean, give me something on the show here that I can take with me. I can chew on.
You is, if you got an outstanding left defensive end, then you run to the right the rest of the night. But starting up inside, you build your defense up inside. And Rocco, whether he's playing defensive tackle, whether he's playing nose guard, Charlie Belovets at linebacker, for all the running that Matt does, I'm amazed at how well he keeps in shape and plays safety, and he just loves to come up, and he's like another linebacker. They're built from the middle out, and you really can't get away from that. So the honest answer is you just have to block them. We do have we got a pretty good center, I have to be telling we didn't have Adam. We lost Adam right from the start of the season, and we didn't get him back until the fourth game. But Adam started for us last year as a sophomore. And he's a good center. And so we're counting right away, like there's one thing that goes with it. And the offensive line around him is pretty good. But the truth of the matter is, if they penetrate and control the line of scrimmage, that's how you beat us. That's how you beat any running team. That's how you beat Bill Ball's teams. I mean, if you can get your defensive line on the other side and push back the offensive line, he's not running off tackle on you. So we played them last year. It was a good game. Charlie didn't play last year, but we didn't have Jacob Albert last year, and we're missing a couple other people. But otherwise, it's the same teams from last year, and it was a really good football game last year. And I don't see any reason why it's not going to be a really good football game right to the very end.
I think it's we were all over it as soon as we saw it, whether it's midnight, 4 in the morning, Coach.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. We want to be that one. I want to just end by saying you got some parents on that team that have sent some really nice emails and thanking us for coverage. And I just want you to know you got a great bunch of parents right there. And that means a lot to us when what we're trying to do gets out there to parents and kids and helps that dream of playing high school football and beyond. So you get some nice people there, and we really appreciate it.
I will pass that on. Thank you.
Please do.
Coach, good luck tomorrow night, and thanks again for carving out time with us. We appreciate it.
Anytime, guys.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
That's longtime head coach / athletic director at Pinkerton, Brian O'Reilly. Reminder, early kickoff tomorrow here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. We're on the air at 4:45 with the kickoff coming at 5 o'clock. Astros and Cardinals live from Derry. We'll be on the scene in hopefully not too bad of a rainstorm. I think we can deal with some, but it's the wind and everything else that's got Coach O'Reilly's guard up for sure. But as the longtime head coach just said, got to throw all that out the window and go up and just play and see what happens, right?
Yeah, he talks about simplicity. You got to block them. It's the tactical warfare that you teach your young players that he and his coaching staff just do a tremendous job at.
Yeah.
And yes, it may be he talks about simplicity as far as offense, but I don't think what they do within that playbook they're very highly sophisticated. And I would say the same. The line play on John Tricciani's Coach Tricciani's team has been phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got some great guys, but he's elevated them. Both of these teams. This game needed to happen, and it's just going to be great for Division I football. Somebody's not going to win, somebody is. But what both of these coaches and these teams have brought to Division I football this year is something I respect greatly.
Absolutely.
Among so many other teams, the parity is wonderful. And it's going to be an exciting game.
The other game we're going to cover, of course, is Saturday at 1 o'clock. That's Timberlane and Exeter, a rematch of week number 5. Right, that's another game.
It's just amazing.
That's going to be spectacular. We're going to break that down with Coach Bill Ball, longtime Blue Hawks head man, also the athletic director at Exeter. He's on the other side. You're watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Hour number 2 here of FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Nick Anastas with Steve Beals in the Beals Insurance studio. We've got Dom Capetta, senior quarterback with Timberlane, coming up in about 10 minutes or so. He's going to lead the Owls into battle on Saturday against Bill Ball's Blue Hawks of Exeter. Joining us now on the phone is the longtime headman / athletic director, Bill Ball. Coach, welcome into the show. How are you this evening?
Doing great, guys. Just finished up practice and a little team meal and get some good sleep and have a good prep day tomorrow and get ready to play.
Yeah. You've had an extra week to get ready following the first round bye. How have you and your staff approached this now, I guess, 2-week period going into the quarterfinal matchup with Timberlane?
Well, we broke down both Timberlane and Concord. Monday was a typical Monday prep day for us. We introduced the base stuff on Tuesday. We get ready for Concord. Alternated days with Timberlane. Then we found out who won the game. All of our attention turned to Timberlane. So we treated it 50-50 going in just to get our fits down and our coverages down and their defensive fronts and their secondary play. So I think we're in pretty good shape going, heading into this week.
Yeah. Coach, your team started the season with a win streak, right? 4-0 out of the gate.
Yeah.
And then back-to-back losses in weeks 5 and 6 before a 3-game win streak to close out the end of the year. Then you got the week off after winning the conference in week number 9. You earned the bye as the 3 seed. Looking back, would you rather have played a game last week just from a consistency perspective to try and ride that win streak a little further, or did the week of rest, do you think, serve your club a little bit better going into this Elite Eight contest?
It's a good question. I'm always I want to play. I mean, kids work too hard. Some of these guys, 50 weeks a year, it takes 2 weeks after it's over to get ready. That being said, we did get healthy in a few spots. And I think that did help us. But as a friend of mine from Melrose told me, you never lost a bye.
Good point.
Claim the win.
Right.
Coach, Coach, thanks for coming on as always. One of the things I've really had a joy watching this year was your quarterback, Mr. Pafford. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's as mechanically sound as I've seen anybody in the league this year. He hides the ball, calls cadence, does everything well. What can you say now that you're going into the big playoff game when you reflect over the past season? Obviously, all eyes are on Saturday, I know. But what can you say about this young man looking back for his performance during the season?
Can't say enough about Path.
Yeah.
Came in midway through the season last year, and Aiden McGinley went to halfback, and Path went to quarterback. Had a great quarterfinal win against in double overtime against Bedford over at Bedford, and just hit the ground running this year. You could see it during sevens this summer. He's a tremendous leader. He's never negative. And I'll be honest with you, he's our number one corner. I mean, he's every bit as good defensive player as he is an offensive player, and he's a great puncher. So he does a lot of things for us, but we're most proud of the way he represents himself in the school and what a positive influence he is.
Yeah, there was a play coach that really showed me, and really, I mean, he's been doing so many things right. The game against Dover that we did, it's just nothing like being at the game. And up in that little bird's nest in Dover there, you can really see a game from an elevated but yet close with no track and all that. It was really great to watch his hand mechanics as far as and how he decoys and hides the football. He was literally running 2/3 of the way in the end zone before anybody even knew he had the ball. He gave you the cadence calls he needed. But the thing that really stood out to me, after having 2 losses that showed me the leadership, I don't know if you remember, there was a play where he was heading down towards the buses and he went into the end zone. He actually had a penalty called on it, and it wasn't even close to a penalty because he lowered his shoulder and he absolutely battered him, just trucked himself into the end zone. And I said, wow, this is more than just a mechanically sound, talented quarterback. This kid's got an attitude to lead his football team. I don't know if you remember that play, but that showed a dimension of him that really impressed me, how tough he is.
Yeah, trust me, I remember that play well.
That was not a penalty.
I'll leave it at that. I remember it well. No, that's emblematic of what he's done, and in the Timberlane kid's the same type of kid.
Yes.
He's going to put his shoulder down. He's going to run off tackle. 3rd and 4. They're going to run their power game, their counter trade game. Same type of guys. So these guys are good athletes. Both been in the fray, and it should be a great Saturday afternoon game.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Timberlane for a second. We were obviously there covering the game against Timberlane, and I don't think we've seen a closer game all year than that one. That was literally right down to the last 2 seconds. That game was not decided. And so when you look at this Timberlane team and you look at Dom Capetta and his supporting actors, Julio, you look at all of them. How do you see you guys at home on turf with home cooking and with your own crowd around? Do you think that's going to make a difference in the game? And how do you stop Dom Capetta and the whole offense as a whole? Because they can be explosive.
Well, yeah, again, it's always good to be home, but the bottom line is once the ball snaps, it becomes a neutral site. Capetta, the Julio, and the freshman number 5.
Corman.
That's a three-pronged attack out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't forget 20. I think Johnson and 29 and number 3 is a really good receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Capetta has the ability to go to hash on an out. Okay, so he can throw that ball across the field on an 8-yard out like the lasers. So my feeling is you can't gang up on anybody. You have to be sound. You have to be sound in your coverage. You have to be sound in your run fits. If you get out of your run fits like we did at the end the other day against them, you're going to have problems.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be highly disciplined tackle to tackle, and you got to be able to tackle in space.
Yeah. I think that's basically what it's going to come down to, right, Coach? I mean, you said it yourself. Once you peel away all the records and, the fact that you're playing at home, once the ball is snapped, it basically comes down to blocking and tackling, right, Coach?
And you know what else, Coach? Have you ever seen a year with a sort of parity and depth in Division I? You've been involved obviously for years longer than I have. But if it isn't one of the tops, I've never seen so many teams that were in the hunt so deep. What are your thoughts on that? Why that is?
It's funny. I agree. And it's teams like we scrimmaged Merrimack early.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't talk to Kip and a couple of guys out. But when he drove up to Bonnie Eagle on Labor Day Friday and played them to the end, I said to myself, you know what? This is going to be a real good league. He's done a great job over at Merrimack.
He has.
Oh, outstanding. Good as anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the parity involved. And then, Portsmouth getting a lot better, playing Kip to 8 points. And that's what you want. You want these highly competitive games. You want it to come down to, let's face it, the kicking game's huge. Kicking game, the other part about Timberland that I think it's not mentioned enough is their experience in the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
They're big.
Physical.
Yeah.
They run. I've watched them for 2 weeks now. They move well. They run a counter scheme. They run a power scheme. They run a little bit of zone. And they're big, strong guys. And like Fitzy said, a couple of those guys have played next to each other for 4 years. So they took their lumps as freshmen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they can play Division I.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. And kudos to them for having a real good year.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to get there, I'll tell you.
Can't. Absolutely, Coach. We appreciate it. As usual, we'll
All
see
right,
you on
guys.
Saturday, and good luck. Thanks again for joining us tonight.
Thanks as always, guys. You have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Good luck, Coach.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That's Bill Ball, longtime head coach / athletic director with Exeter.
Yeah, he's got himself a good football team because he's got a quarterback. He's always develops good quarterbacks, but I just think that Pafford is pretty special, and this is a quarterback matchup with two tall, rugged, smart, very technically sound. I would say Capetta has that Roethlisberger power to him. I think Pafford he's a guy that just when he wants to lower his shoulder, he can get it done as well. But he's got an ability to hide the ball and be extremely difficult, and that's all what Coach Ball and Exeter's offense is all about,
right,
is to really make it so difficult to read your keys. And Coach Ball does as good as anybody.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a break. Come back with our final guest. That's Dom Capetta, the Timberlane senior quarterback. He's on the other side. And we'll ask him exactly what it's going to take to beat Exeter a second time and advance to the D1 semifinals. You are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, summer and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Final segment here on FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Nick Anastas and Steve Beals here from the Beals Insurance Studios. We're live every Thursday, 6 Eastern on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. And if you missed any part of tonight's show, interviews with Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph, Coach Tricciani of Bishop Girton, Brian O'Reilly from Pinkerton, or Coach Ball from Exeter, you can check out the show on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media, under the videos section. Again, Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Joining us now is Timberlane senior quarterback Dom Capetta, one of Steve's favorite players. He's got the Owls in the quarterfinals going up against Exeter on Saturday. Dom, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We're good. We appreciate you coming on. First of all, congratulations on the playoff win against Concord. Your team, after trailing early in the game, able to get the job done and advance to take on Exeter. I guess we'll start there. What was the biggest takeaway in your mind from that 6-point victory over the Crimson?
Well, we've never really seen Concord before, so going into that game, we knew they were going to be really good, and they were. So it was a really good win overall for everyone.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about you over the last, I guess, 12 or 13 months, right? It's been a long journey. You had an injury last year right before the playoff run. Your teammates able to get the job done in Division II, and then you come back over the summer and you step right back in as the quarterback and have an outstanding senior season. Were there any doubts in your mind during that process at all that maybe you weren't going to be able to get back and play the way that you ultimately did, or were you confident throughout the whole process that once you were able to get back on the field that success was going to follow?
Yeah, when I got hurt, I knew it was going to be tough to come back, but I didn't really have any doubts at all that we would be good or that I would be the same. I knew I was going to play the best that I could, and we're doing really well.
Yeah. Obviously a very good regular season for your team, 7-2 against all Division I competition. Did that come as a surprise at all, given the jump up a division and how successful you guys were in the regular season? Or, again, was that something you expected following a Division II championship?
We knew we were going to be really good, and I don't know if a lot of people thought we were going to be good, but we weren't shocked when it happened, no.
Tell me a little bit about yourself away from the football field. What are some of your interests, and what are the plans beyond high school once you graduate in June?
I plan to play college football. I don't really know where, but I plan to play quarterback in college, yeah.
Nice. Dom, you're one of my favorites. I love watching you play. I love your attitude, and I love quarterbacks that like to truck defenses, and I just you just exemplify that. So the first question comes kind of out of that spirit. One of the things that I've noticed this year that's developed throughout the year is you're looking at multiple receivers down the field, and that's a really good thing when quarterbacks do that. You're looking downfield at the primary, you're looking at your secondary if he's covered, and then run instead of your second option is now your third. Is that something that you're aware of? Is that something that you've been really working as part of your quarterback game, or because it's very noticeable to me?
Yeah, choose to scramble a lot, but I've been starting to keep my eyes downfield more, but yeah, I like scrambling a lot, and I've kind of developed throwing while scrambling over the season, but yeah.
Yeah, off tackle seems to be a place you love to turn upfield. You like those. It's almost like you see the hash marks and you say, "Well, there's my railroad track." But you don't tend to. Your stiff arm has been really improved. If there's a college, out there, in my view, that's looking for a quarterback,
absolutely,
that's going to run that kind of offense, to me, you're just custom made for it, Dom. What do you seem to really enjoy contact? I mean, that's a loaded question because it's very obvious. What is it you feel when you see a defender coming your way when you're getting ready to lower your shoulder? It looks like you like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really fun for me, and I enjoy it a lot.
Tell us about it. What do you feel as you work your way down the field? Tell us about. What do you see? What do you feel?
I don't know. You get like that adrenaline rush when you run down the field, and I don't know. I just want to hit someone, so it's better than just running out of bounds, I guess.
Absolutely. You've number 9 has been a tremendous. 19, excuse me, has been a tremendous. Am I right? 9 or 19? Julio.
Eddie.
Yeah, DeJulio, yeah.
DeJulio.
He's 19.
19.
Yes.
You guys seem to have a great relationship, whether you're handing it off to him or you're firing it downfield. Have you guys been playing together for a long time? Because it just seems to be a good chemistry there.
This is my first year ever playing really with Eddie, but getting a lot of reps in the backfield with him, Corman, even Dan Post, it's just reps that make it easy.
Tell us what this game means to you.
This is like the biggest game for all of us. We've never been in this spot before in Division I, so this is like all of our biggest games.
Yeah. Coach Fitzgerald, you seem to have a very good relationship with Coach Fitzgerald, and it seems like I always love it at high school when quarterbacks come off the field. I think there's a lot of learning that can take place there. But you guys seem to have conversations and seem to have your own third rail of communication as well when you're out by the hashes looking off. Tell us about that relationship and what Coach Fitzgerald has meant to your career.
Yeah, he's great, and every time I go to the sideline after a play, we always talk about what we like, what we don't like, even at halftime, and it's very easy to figure out what we want, and if I tell him something he doesn't like, he'll tell me, and we both think the same. Yeah,
that's important. Going into Exeter, so you're not going to have home cooking, but you're going to. By the way, you guys have one of the best snack bars going around at that hometown field. I just want to add that as well. But you're going to Exeter this week on Saturday. Looks like the weather's going to clear up. What are your feelings about the Exeter Blue Hawks, and how do you think you guys match up against them? You seem like a very confident guy, so let's hear it.
I think they're a good team. They gave us a run for our money in the first game, and that game came down to the wire, so it's really any man's game on Saturday. So we're all looking forward to it, really excited.
Well, Dom, I tell you, I've really enjoyed watching you play football. I wish I could even have seen some of the other games, but unfortunately there's no film that I could find out. But you're a pleasure to watch. You play the game, as far as I'm concerned, the way a good running and play-action team ought to play. and I wish you the very best of luck. You've really entertained a lot of people with your skills and your talents this year, and best of luck in your college search. There's plenty of highlights that we have alone that would make any college interested in a guy like you. So best of luck to you, and best of luck the rest of the season. I hope you get your dream that you're looking for.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you, Dom. Appreciate it. That again, Dom Capetta, senior quarterback with Timberlane, outstanding single caller, another kid who faced adversity, right, and had the right attitude throughout that rehabilitation process, comes back better than ever for Coach Fitzgerald as a senior against Division I competition.
He's just his skill set. When you see him look downfield right now, he's one of those guys, and I think Coach Ball, he's so smart. He was talking about how when Dom throws a ball, he could be on one hash mark, and he can fire it all the way to the other side. Ball never gets more than 8 feet off the ground, high velocity, very difficult for a cornerback to get the time that he needs to be able to react because Dom can fire the ball, and then he's a running threat on top of that.
And one of the more difficult passes to throw.
Absolutely.
Is the 8-yard out that Coach Ball was referring to.
Yeah, you can tell he's really worked hard to get himself in first-level shape.
Yeah.
And to fight back from an injury and come back your senior year is tough. He's made the most of it. And
really a dual threat.
He really is.
And a playmaker for Timberlane. Problem with the Owls, they got to beat the Blue Hawks twice to get into the semifinals. And as we know, that's a tough, tall order.
Yeah, I think the Blue Hawks play very, very well at home. But Timberlane's physicality is something that Coach Ball also, because Coach Ball just tells you the truth. He's going to lay it right out to you like Coach O'Reilly does, and all the coaches really in our league. I think Coach Fitzgerald and Coach, again, you got to go back. These are two former Division II teams years back.
Yep.
There's a lot of familiarity with there, and these coaches have as profess themselves have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. I think we've got a couple good marquee games, and I just can't imagine any one of these four teams that we're going to be covering this weekend running away with it. It's possible. Yeah. Games happen. Things happen.
Yep.
Four very, very good teams who deserve to be here.
And unfortunately, we will not be seeing Bedford North tomorrow or Londonderry and Merrimack because we can't be everywhere at once. But we wish we could.
Everybody knows we'd cover them all. If the timing was there, we just have to. We can't. Yeah.
But reminder, the games we will broadcast begin early tomorrow, 5 o'clock, Astros and Cardinals, BG at Pinkerton. 5 o'clock Eastern, the kick. Our coverage begins live at 4:45. And then on Saturday, it's a 1 o'clock start between Exeter and Timberlane. We get off the ground at 12:45 Eastern. Steve, your final thoughts?
Actually, my final thoughts, we've talked a lot about these two games. I'm fascinated to see what game plan that Merrimack comes to take on our number one power pole team in Londonderry Lancers. They have some running backs, Hyde in particular, who's just an absolute battering ram. One thing that Jimmy Lozon's been able to do is to be able to take good players and minimize their impact. So I'm really kind of interested to see how that game goes, because I think Kip Jackson deserves a lot of credit. Could definitely argue to be one of the top coaches, credits this year for sure.
Absolutely.
If not, he's right there. So I'm kind of interested in to see that score. I'll be glancing at that score on a regular basis, see how Merrimack matches up. It's going to be a tough thing for them to overcome Londonderry. But you never know. The way this team's been playing, they went in and beat Bedford, who I have a lot of respect for. They went in and beat Bedford
less than 2 weeks ago.
Less than 2 weeks ago, backwards. So, yeah.
So anything can happen, as we know. But great job by these coaches getting their players to this point. The quarterfinals, that's an accomplishment. And especially this year, to be in that group of Final Eight in Division I is pretty good. And then, of course, in Division II, they're down to the Final Four. As we know, Guilford Belmont taking on Souhegan on one side of the bracket, Bow against Pelham on the other. So we'll have an eye.
All four expected to be there. Yeah,
as well.
And deserve to be.
All right, I want to thank our sponsors tonight. Of course, that's Beals Insurance, the New Hampshire Tomahawks, New Hampshire iPhone Repair, Ghost Energy, and MG Sports Fundraising. I want to thank our guests, Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph and ETV, Coach Tricciani Jr. of Bishop Girton, Coach O'Reilly, of course, from Pinkerton, Coach Ball of Exeter, and a great job there at the tail end from Dom Capetta of Timberlane. For the man behind the curtain, Ben Beals, our director, who did another great job with that intro, which I hope we will air tomorrow night in advance of that Pinkerton BG game. For my partner, executive producer Steve Beals, my name is Nick Anastas saying so long. This has been FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance.